This evening, I want to talk about change and why change is worth the fear and pain of experiencing. Because change is something that is scary and makes us uncomfortable. Um, Probably what makes us the most uncomfortable more than anything else. Experiencing the unknown and experiencing things that you're not used to and you don't know, you don't have any sort of experience or knowledge about. It's something, it's a process that we need to learn to embrace, because once you get over that fear and you get past that fear, you actually enter into real growth and evolution and success. Because anything that you want to do or achieve or be that's not yourself right now, you have to experience change and experience things that you've never experienced before. So you need to step outside of your comfort zone and you need to experience that pain initially in order to grow and become a different person and become a better person, in order to not be stuck where you are currently. So the reason why new things are so painful is because we just don't know. We fear what we don't know, and we don't know what anything. And in the moment, things will feel like they're excruciating and unbearable. And that's only because your nervous system is all haywire, and your senses are all like pushed to the max, because you're experiencing something that you have to pay attention to everything, and you don't know what's going on, and everything you do is wrong, and etc., etc. So you but once you get through the first period of time, and this depends on what it is that you're enduring, whatever experience. Like, for example, if you're starting a new job or something, and you're going through training, and everything is extremely stressful and crazy, and it just feels like there's no way that you can deal with it. After like a couple weeks, you'll be able to calm down and realize that like you can do it, right? And then also, it could be something like, in my experience, right now, I'm in the process of flying across the country after being in one place my entire life. This is a completely new thing for me, and I have to endure a lot of pain and suffering, because I have to deal with circumstances that I'm not used to. But even now, in my process of moving and leaving and transitioning, it's been, a few days in that process, right? Being off the farm. And I've already been able to, the pain has subsided. Now I'm going to experience more pain because I'm about to go somewhere else and take another flight and go to another place. But the pain that I experienced, and the discomfort that I experienced having to deal with an unfamiliar situation, unfamiliar environment, unfamiliar living situation, dynamic with people, And you know, whether you're dealing with people who are not super friendly or accommodating or whatever, um, you just learn to deal with it. And for me at least, it only takes like a little while. So, but initially it feels really, really intense. Like I feel extreme stress. I was waking up in the middle of the night the first couple nights with extreme back pain and neck pain because I was so stressed out. And you know, in my mind, there was a voice saying, like, this is impossible. Like, there's no way that you can deal with all of this stuff, all of this change, all of the demands and the lack of space or the lack of this or the necessity for this or whatever. And, but I adapted somehow. And that just takes time. Like, it's just a thing, it's just a matter of time. You know, after a little bit of time, I was able to adjust, and my body, my nervous system was able to subside and kind of relax. And now I'm not waking up in the middle of the night in panic, and I'm not having extreme back pain. Like, I'm a little bit more like baseline, right? And now I'm in a position where I look back at this little experience that I just had, and I'm thankful that I got on the other side. It's like I got on the other side. You have to know that, like, when you're experiencing something that's new and it hurts and it's painful, you have to just endure it because there's another side. Once you get over that initial period of being uncomfortable, you're going to be on the other side, and it's going to be okay, and it's going to be fine. And then you're going to look back at the pain and be thankful for it because you got here. Because I'm glad that I'm here now. Because when I look back to before I took action, I don't ever want to be there. I want to be here, even though it's uncomfortable. And even though it was really uncomfortable up until now. And it's going to be uncomfortable as things change. It's going to go back to being really uncomfortable, right? You know, as long as you go through this whole process, it's never not going to be uncomfortable. So there's no way of avoiding it. You can mitigate it by understanding that it's going to be uncomfortable, so that you brace yourself, and you also tell yourself, like, this is supposed to be uncomfortable. I'm supposed to be feeling panic right now. I'm supposed to be feeling this and that. So I am okay. Like, everything is okay. Everything's going haywire inside my nervous system right now, but that's okay, because this is just the process of my body and my brain experiencing something new that I don't know, and there's not really anything I can do about that initial resistance. It's not your fault. So you can kind of mitigate the pain a little bit by just knowing that you're going to experience pain and accepting that. And then just knowing that there's going to be another side, and you're going to get over this hill of pain, and then it's going to get better, and then you're just going to kind of be able to relax a little bit. And you're going to be able to feel good and better in a new paradigm, in a better paradigm. You went through the pain to get to a higher level, and now you're chilling at a higher level, and you can look back down at where you were before, and you can be thankful for the pain that you endured climbing up, right? So now you're at a higher level, and you're okay, right? Because you were okay when you were at that lower level, but you were just in comfort because you're not, like, happy with where you are and you want to get somewhere. But now you've taken a step and you feel okay, but now you've made progress, and that's what life is all about. Like, if you want to have a fulfilling life, This is the process. If you want to achieve anything, if you want to be anything, if you want to have anything in your life, this is the process. Pain is part of the process, but it's necessary because then you can endure it and become a better person and become stronger. If there was no pain, there would be no path, there would be no purpose, there would be no journey. And that might be difficult to like feel good about, because it's like, okay, well, I'd rather just not feel any pain and not have a path and just have what I want. You know, that would be much better, but that's just not how it works. So you just need to embrace reality and accept that you're going to have to endure pain. And it's not something that you have to hate, because there is another side, and that side is so much, the other side is so much worth it. It's worth all the pain. So you need to remember that. Like, this is on the same topic, but a little bit like off topic from my own journey and current circumstance. But you know, I got a blood test a couple weeks ago because I needed to make sure that, you know, everything was in order before I leave. And I got a new technician, you know, someone who you know, she later admitted that, you know, she had only started a couple months ago, you know, prior. And she had accidentally bruised my vein that she, you know, she used to withdraw the blood, and I had a lot of bruising, and I'm already squeamish with needles, right? I'm squeamish with this type of stuff, and obviously that's why I don't want to get too graphic or whatever, because I'm totally fine. Everything is fine now, and that's kind of the point. It's like I went through a huge like discomfort for like a couple weeks, because this is like the worst thing that could happen to me, because it's just very like, when for me, I'm just very not used to this type of stuff, right? I don't work in this field. I have a squeamishness with blood and stuff like that. But now, since I experienced this and I know that I'm okay now and everything's fine, I'm stronger and I'm not as squeamish. And I'm, you know, because the worst thing happened to me, and it's completely fine. Like, it was taken care of. It's my body took care of it. You know, I healed. I am healing. So this can be applied to everything. It doesn't have to be like your life purpose or financial goals or like self-improvement. It can just be being able to deal with like life, because you have to deal with life if you want to live. So you know, as long as you don't want to live under a rock and not experience anything, you're going to need to like step out into the world, and things are going to happen, right? Things are going to happen around you, things are going to happen to you. And, you know, like in my previous video, this is what I experienced in living in the city, right? And I'm so thankful for it. It was uncomfortable, and I didn't feel safe at all times. I felt a lot less safe than I did when I was back in my cave, right? You know, surrounded by my computer, and I just walk to work and come back home and play video games or something. That was my life for a really long time. But I was unsatisfied with where I was as a person and what I had achieved. I was completely unsatisfied with that. And the suffering of not being who you want to be is just so much worse than the pain that you have to go through initially with dealing with shit. You just have to deal with shit in life, and that is life. There's nothing that you can do about it, and you should actually be thankful for that pain, because that pain is how you become a strong person. It's how you become someone who's capable of achieving what you want to achieve. It's someone who's capable of being in the world and dealing with the world. You know, if you want to be a person who's able to handle things emotionally, if you want to be someone who's able to like deal with like drama and things going on, and having to make decisions in the moment, or having to be under stress, make decisions under stress, and just deal with things and not break down. Like, if you're tired of breaking down over things and just being extremely fragile, you just need to embrace that pain of experiencing new things, and stop avoiding that pain. Because as long as you avoid pain, you're always going to be weak. You're always going to be a really fragile, emotional person who can't deal with anything. And you're just going to feel inadequate, and you're just going to feel incapable of dealing with things, with life. And then you're just not going to achieve anything. You're just not going to achieve. I know you have a goal. I know you have a dream. Everyone has things that they want to achieve, no matter how little, quote unquote little, because in the grand scheme of things, there's no big or small. It's because it's all your perspective. If getting, you know, redecorating, getting yourself to, like, redecorate your house, or to clean your room, or to get rid of things that is basically garbage to you now, like it's not stuff that you use anymore, right? It doesn't matter what type of goal it is. If there's something that you want and know that you have to do, but you can't get yourself to do it, you have a need to become someone who's capable of dealing with pain. We all have to deal with pain. And that's totally fine. It's like, it's just something that you need to accept. And once you accept it, you're going to be so thankful that you did, because you're going to feel so much relief once you get through the necessary pain of getting the things done that you need to do in order to get to where you need to do, where you need to be. And also, it's like it's not even about the destination, it's about the path, right? It's about the progress. It's about the getting things done and the steps. It's the movement. The real suffering comes from just not moving towards your goal, or towards the person that you want to be, whether it's just someone who's more emotionally stable, someone who's more financially stable, someone who's both, someone who is more outgoing, or someone who's more caring, someone who's more thoughtful, someone who's more disciplined, someone who's more clean, right? It doesn't matter what you want to be. If you're on the path towards that, if you're seeing any little bit of improvement, you're just going to feel so much better. It's a paradox of, like, you experience that pain up front, but then you also get to the other side and you look back and you feel good. And then the key is to keep going, because, you know, you can go back down and go back down to where you were before if you get too much pride, right? If you get too comfortable, if you achieve something, you have to keep going. You have to keep That's why I said in that other video that I made in my closet when there was no power, you need to seek pain. You need to seek discomfort, because that means that you're always on path to what you want. if you're always comfortable, like, you need to be aware of when you're comfortable, because if you're comfy for too long, you're either going up or you're going down. So if going up, you know, now there's some amount of pain that you have to experience. So if you're just comfy and you just feel good about yourself and about everything, that means that you're starting to go down, right? And that's not to make you feel bad. That's not to make you feel anxious all the time. You need to feel bad all the time. I'm just saying, like, you're just gonna regret, like, you need to get up and keep going, right? Celebrate your wins, keep going. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about pain again, but in the sense of change and experiencing new things. And it's okay, it's scary, and it's supposed to be. It's how your body reacts to things. So I don't want you to feel like, I want you to know that when you try something that you want to do and it's like, oh, this is overwhelming and this is just too much, just know and remember my words about how this is how it's supposed to feel like initially. That's the pain, that's the resistance that you're going to feel. It's the dissonance between your current self and the capable self that you're trying to become. There's going to be some pain, there's going to be some suffering, okay? That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that your dream is not meant for you and it's time to give up immediately. It just means that you need to kind of put your head down and endure the pain for a little while, and then it will get a little bit better. You'll adapt. You'll notice that you adapt. You notice that you're not waking up in pain because of all the stress. You'll notice that you're sleeping a little bit better. You notice that the days are going by a little bit faster, you know, like, you'll notice. And just wait for that. Just wait. It'll come.